After surviving Stavanger's overpriced groceries, rogue seagulls, and a market filled with fish I wasn't allowed to steal, Emma announced we were leaving the city behind. Her new obsession, driving the rolling den through Siddle toward Lysebotn. Her exact words, "We'll see epic views and breathtaking scenery." Translation, more winding roads, bugs, and probably more sheep. The morning air was crisp and smelled suspiciously clean. The salty breeze from the sea faded into the fresh scent of pine and damp moss as we drove deeper into the Norwegian wilderness. I stretched luxuriously across the dashboard, tail curled neatly around my paws, ready to judge this so-called epic drive. Chapter 2. Passing Through. Hell! We cruised through rocky valleys framed by towering cliffs until we reached a small village with an unfortunate name. A faded sign stood proudly by the roadside, "Welcome to Hell." I blinked. Emma burst out laughing. "Look, Fluffy, we're in hell!" I stared at the sign in silence before replying, "This explains a lot." Apparently, Hell is a real village in Norway. In winter, the entire place freezes over, meaning humans can finally stop using that ridiculous phrase about impossibilities. So Hell freezes over regularly, I mused. Good to know. Emma snapped a photo by the sign, still giggling. "We have to tell everyone we've been to Hell." "Trust me," I muttered. "I've been there since birth." Chapter 3. Sirdal's True Rulers. The Sheep Empire. The scenery turned wild after leaving Hell. Forests thinned into rocky meadows dotted with grazing sheep. They roamed freely, blocking the road with the audacity of royalty. We were barely 20 minutes into the mountain pass when traffic came to a complete halt. A single bold sheep stood in the middle of the narrow road, chewing lazily and making direct eye contact. Its expression, pure entitlement. Emma giggled. "Look how adorable they are." I stared. Adorable? It's a furry roadblock. The sheep refused to move, chewing slowly, completely unfazed by the rolling den, inching forward. After what felt like eternity, it wandered off at its own pace, leaving us in its wool-covered dust. "Majestic creatures," Emma sighed. "Traffic hazards in sweaters," I corrected. Chapter 4. The Great Coffee Robbery. Hours later, Emma spotted a rustic mountain cafe tucked near a ski resort, a cozy wooden cabin perched on the edge of a rocky outcrop. It smelled of fresh pastries, wood smoke, and highway robbery. Inside, a handwritten chalkboard proudly announced, "Traditional Norwegian coffee, 75 then OK." Emma hesitated but surrendered. Soon she returned with a steaming cup of coffee and a cinnamon roll the size of a ship's anchor. 75 kroner for coffee? I scoffed. Did they grind gold into the beans? Emma sighed blissfully after her first sip. It's totally worth it. I eyed the cinnamon roll with intent. Are you seriously planning to finish that, or should I liberate it from human possession? Chapter 5. The Descent into Lysebotn, a test of brakes and courage. Fueled by overpriced caffeine and pure stubbornness, Emma tackled the infamous Lysebotn Road, a deadly, twisting ribbon of asphalt carved into the mountainside. The road plunged from the mountaintop to Lysebotn like a roller coaster designed by a vengeful Norse god. It boasted 27 unforgiving switchbacks, each sharper than the last. Emma clutched the steering wheel with a death grip, while the rolling den's brakes screeched like tortured souls. Steam hissed from the wheel wells, promising certain doom. "This is nothing," Emma insisted, knuckles white. "Just a few steep turns." I dug my claws into the dashboard. We are plummeting, not driving. Hairpin turns tested fate with every descent. The air stank of brake dust and human overconfidence. After what felt like a lifetime, we miraculously reached the valley floor. The brakes let out one last defeated wheeze before falling silent. Chapter 6. A Quiet Night in Lysebotn. Lysebotn greeted us with majestic silence, a remote village cradled between colossal cliffs and the serene expanse of Lysefjord. Mist drifted across the water like nature's protective veil. Emma parked the rolling den at a cozy campsite near the fjord's edge, stretching like she'd conquered Mount Everest. "We made it," she cheered. I hopped down from the dashboard, shaking out my fur. The brakes made it. Barely. Towering cliffs stood like ancient guardians, their jagged faces etched by time. The water shimmered in the dim evening light, perfectly still, and impossibly blue. Emma brewed tea over a small campfire, steam curling into the chilly night air. The soft crackle of burning wood blended with the gentle lap of water against the shore. I stretched out on a warm patch of rock near the fire, finally able to relax. The day's chaos faded into distant memory, replaced by the whisper of wind through the valley. Emma sipped her tea, smiling. Worth it. I flicked my tail lazily. Debatable. The stars blinked awake, scattered like forgotten wishes. In that quiet moment, even I felt at peace. No seagulls, no sheep, no switchbacks. Just silence. Norway wasn't so bad, for a wilderness.